You're lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, the weight of the day pressing against your chest. The world outside keeps moving, people posting their wins, their vacations, their perfect lives. But you're carrying something heavier, something no one sees. It's not just one bad day or one bad year. It's the scars of a life that's tested you over and over, until you wonder if all that's left is the pain. Maybe it was a betrayal that cut so deep you still flinch at trust. Maybe it was a loss that stole the ground beneath you. Or maybe it's the quiet grind of surviving in a world that demands you smile through it all. If this feels like you, stay with me. This isn't just a story about pain. By the end, you'll see how the weight you carry has quietly forged strengths you didn't know you had, and how it's leading you to a version of yourself you've yet to meet. Let's be real. Pain changes us. It's not the kind of change you notice in the mirror, but the kind that shifts how you move through the world. You've felt it, haven't you? The way you catch someone's hesitation in a conversation and know they're hurting. The way you stay up late, planning every detail of tomorrow because chaos once broke you. The way you crave solitude, not because you're cold, but because it's the only place you feel safe. I've been there too. I've sat in rooms full of people, smiling, while my heart carried wounds no one could see. I've said I'm fine when I was anything but. And I know you have too. You're not alone in this. You're not weak or broken for feeling the weight of what you've endured. You're human. And this pain, it's carved something powerful in you, even if you can't see it yet. What's happening here? Why does pain leave such a lasting mark? Carl Jung would say it's because pain touches the soul. Jung believed that our deepest experiences, especially the ones that hurt, reach into the unconscious, where they shape who we are. Pain isn't just an event, it's a teacher. It forces us to confront parts of ourselves we'd rather ignore. Jung called these parts the shadow, the raw, messy truths we hide to survive. Your shadow might hold the anger you've swallowed, the dreams you've buried, the trust you've locked away. But it also holds your strength, your empathy, your resilience. Pain brings the shadow to light, and that's why it feels so heavy. You're not just carrying hurt. You're carrying the weight of becoming who you are. Let's go deeper. This pain didn't start with you. It's rooted in moments you might not even remember. Moments when the world taught you to hide, to endure, to protect yourself. Maybe it was a parent who only loved you when you were good. Maybe it was a friend who betrayed you when you needed them most. Maybe it was a society that told you to keep going no matter how much it hurt. Soren Kierkegaard would call this despair, the quiet agony of living out of alignment with your true self. Kierkegaard believed we fall into despair when we betray our soul to please the world. Every time you stayed silent to keep the peace, every time you pushed through pain to prove your worth, you drifted further from yourself. That's why you feel this ache. It's not just the pain of what happened. It's the pain of losing you. But here's where it gets real. Pain doesn't just break us, it builds us. Jung would say that suffering is part of individuation, the journey to become whole. Every hardship you faced has left a mark, not just as a scar, but as a strength. You've developed traits most people never see, but they're there, quietly shaping how you move through the world. Let's talk about them. First, there's your profound empathy. You notice things others miss, a shift in someone's tone, a flicker of sadness in their eyes. You feel their pain like it's your own, because you know what it's like to hurt in silence. Studies show that trauma often sharpens this sensitivity, turning survivors into natural healers. Your empathy isn't just a trait, it's a gift, forged in the fire of your own suffering. Then there's the urge to save others. Psychologists call it a savior complex, but it's more than that. It's the part of you that wants to shield the world from the pain you've known. You stay up late helping a friend through a crisis. You put everyone's needs before your own. You keep the peace, even when it costs you. This drive comes from love, but it can also become a trap. Jung would say it's your shadow at work, your need to prove you're enough by fixing others. But here's the truth. You can't save everyone, and you don't have to. Your compassion is beautiful, but without boundaries, it can drain you dry. You deserve the same care you give so freely. Another trait? A guarded heart. Pain has made you cautious. You don't open up easily, not because you're cold, but because you've learned that trust can break you. Judith Herman, a trauma expert, says this is your mind's way of protecting you, a defense mechanism built from past hurts. But being guarded isn't a flaw. It's a sign you've survived. Still, it can leave you feeling distant, like you're watching life through a window. Deep down, you want to connect, but you're scared, and that's okay. Trust takes time, and you're allowed to move at your own pace. Not everyone will hurt you, but you don't have to rush to find out who won't. You also crave solitude, not to hide, but to heal. After so much chaos, your alone time is sacred. It's where you process, recharge, and find peace. Jung would say this is your soul seeking balance, a way to reconnect with the self you've lost in the noise of the world. Solitude isn't isolation, it's self-respect. It's you honoring the journey you've been on. But here's the catch. Society doesn't value stillness. It tells you to keep moving, keep producing, keep performing. Ignore that. Your need for quiet is a strength, not a weakness. It's how you rebuild what pain tried to take. And then there's your hunger for stability. After living through uncertainty, betrayals, losses, or just the grind of survival, you crave safety. You build routines, plan ahead, create structure. This isn't just habit, it's survival. A grounding exercise like the 5-4-3-2-1 technique, naming 5 things you see, 4 you can touch, 3 you hear, 2 you smell, 1 you taste, can anchor you when the world feels shaky. But this need for control can tip into overthinking. You plan for every outcome, then plan for the plan failing. Jung would say this is your shadow's fear of chaos, but you're stronger than you know. You don't need to control everything. You've faced the worst and kept going. That's enough. Let's pause here. These traits, empathy, a savior complex, a guarded heart, solitude, stability, they're not random. They're the fingerprints of your pain, but also of your power. Nietzsche would call this your will to power, the drive to transform suffering into strength. He believed that pain doesn't just wound us, it forces us to create meaning. You're not just surviving, you're becoming. But to see that, you have to look deeper. You have to face the truth about what pain has done to you and what it's still doing. Let's dive back in, because there's more to this story. Pain doesn't just give you empathy or caution. It shapes how you see yourself and the world. Another trait you've likely developed is hyper-independence. Betrayals and disappointments have taught you that relying on others can hurt. So you do it all yourself. You don't ask for help, not because you don't need it, but because needing feels like weakness. Jung would say this is your shadow's armor, a shield forged to keep you safe. But it's also a weight. Carrying everything alone is exhausting, and deep down you know it. You're not an island, even if you've had to act like one. It's okay to lean on others. It's okay to let the shield drop, just a little. Then, there's your appreciation for life's small moments. After so much pain, the little things, a warm cup of coffee, the sound of rain, a stranger's smile, hit differently. They're not just moments, they're proof that beauty still exists. Jung would call this a glimpse of the numinous, the sacred spark that connects you to something bigger. This sensitivity is a gift, one that others might overlook, but you cherish. It's your soul reminding you that even in a broken world, there's still light. Hold on to that. It's what keeps you grounded when everything else feels heavy. You also carry a strong sense of justice. Pain has shown you what it's like to feel powerless, so injustice cuts deep. You stand up for others, advocate for what's right, fight for fairness, not just because it's noble, but because it's personal. Nietzsche would see this as your will to power in action, turning your wounds into a force for good. But this passion can also burn you out. You can't fight every battle, and you don't have to. Your heart for justice is enough. It's already changing the world, one act at a time. And then the search for meaning. Pain has a way of stripping away the superficial, leaving you with big questions. Why me? What's the point? But for you, it doesn't stop there. You ask, what can I learn? How can I grow? Psychologists call this post-traumatic growth, the process of finding purpose in pain. Jung would call it individuation, the journey to integrate your shadow and become whole. Maybe you've turned your struggles into art, advocacy, or simply a quieter, wiser life. Maybe you're still searching. Either way, this quest is your strength. It's how you take the raw material of pain and shape it into something meaningful. So why does this matter? Because these traits aren't just quirks. They're the building blocks of your soul. They're proof that pain hasn't defeated you. But here's the deeper truth. You're not meant to carry this weight forever. Jung believed that healing comes when we make the unconscious conscious, when we see our pain, our shadow, our strengths for what they are. Kierkegaard would say it's about choosing yourself even when it's hard, choosing to set boundaries even if it feels selfish, choosing to trust even if it's scary, choosing to rest even if the world says keep going. This is the universal truth. Pain changes everyone, but what you do with it defines you. So how do you move forward? How do you heal in a world that keeps pushing you to perform? Start small. Step 1, acknowledge your pain. Write it down, say it out loud, or just sit with it. You don't have to fix it, just see it. Step 2, set one boundary. Say no to something that drains you, even if it's small. It's not selfish, it's survival. Step 3, reconnect with what makes you feel alive. A walk, a song, a moment of silence. Find it and make it yours. Step 4, ask for help. Just once. Reach out to someone you trust and let them in.
You don't have to do this alone. But healing isn't just personal, it's collective. Our society thrives on disconnection, on keeping us too busy to feel, too tired to heal. So fight back. Have one real conversation. Share your truth, even if it's messy. Listen to someone else's. Build rituals, a morning journal, a nightly gratitude list, a weekly pause. These acts reclaim your humanity in a world that wants to make you a machine. And don't underestimate their power. Jung believed that one person's healing ripples into the collective unconscious. Your courage to face your pain could be the spark someone else needs to start their own journey. Now, let's talk about the cost. Healing isn't easy. You'll lose people who liked the old you, the one who never said no, who carried their burdens. You'll feel guilty for choosing yourself in a world that glorifies sacrifice. You'll face moments of doubt so raw they scare you. But Kierkegaard would remind you, despair is worse. Staying broken is worse. Betraying yourself is worse. Every time you choose healing, you chip away at the pain, not just in you, but in the world. You become a living rebellion against a system that thrives on your suffering. Here's the hardest part. Healing doesn't feel good right away. You'll doubt yourself. You'll miss the old patterns, the chaos, the familiar pain. You'll wonder if you're doing it wrong because freedom feels like falling. But that's the point. Jung said, the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. You're not here to be perfect or productive or popular. You're here to be you. And that starts with one choice: to listen to the voice inside you, the one that knows you're more than your scars, the one that knows you're enough. So, here's your challenge. Can you choose yourself? Can you sit with your pain long enough to see its gifts? Can you let go of the world's demands and claim your soul instead? Because beyond this weight is something real. Beyond this loneliness is your truth. Beyond this pain is a version of you that's been waiting all along. Stronger, freer, alive. You're not broken. You're becoming. And that becoming is painful, but it's also your power. Nietzsche called it becoming who you are. Jung called it individuation. I call it coming home. If this broke something open inside you, you're not alone. This is your moment.
You've felt the weight of your pain, but you've also felt the spark of your strength. Don't let it fade. Choose yourself today. Say no to one thing that dims your light. Say yes to one thing that makes you feel alive. And keep going. You're not just healing, you're rewriting the story of what it means to be human. So like this video if you're ready to claim your strength. Subscribe if you're done carrying the world's burdens. And comment below, I'm choosing me. Let the world hear it. Let your soul hear it. This is your journey now, and it's just beginning.